Time to have a little heart-to-heart. Some bear market economic conditions are hitting us. We're seeing the stock market fall, inflation is rising, gas is going up. All right, I want to start us in an interesting place here, so I'm going to put these up close so you can see them. One of these will buy you a gallon of gas. The other one will buy you maybe a gumball. There's a lot to get into, but let's start here. First of all, thank you. If you've ever smashed one of these buttons down here, thank you. If you are leaving comments and being a part of the community, thanks for taking time out of your day to choose to share with the rest of us. And I always like hearing from you guys. I want to take some time to give you an update as to where we're at. All right, so let's start by talking goals. Our goal was to make about $42 on the higher side to pay my bills comfortably. On the low side of that, I need to be making about $35 an hour. Number two, I wanted to maintain that wage for about 6 months. So I wanted to not only hit it, but then have a consistent time frame over which I was maintaining that hourly. The other goal that I had set up was to make $10,000 and have it saved and set aside so that I wasn't tapping into my bankroll to pay bills. All right, so we're making just over $40 an hour playing, and that's nothing to complain about. Pretty happy with that. And that is within our first range, our 35 to 42. We're 110 hours into the year so far, $4,434. We're making decent money. That's gonna be just a little bit shy of a month. And so I'm gonna expect to be making about $4,800 per month, something like that. You know, you're looking at somewhere around $50,000 per year that you'll be able to live off of. As far as the graphs go on the year, how it's been, I'll throw it up right here. You can see that it looks like a high performing stock, which is something that is real rare these days. We're in a bull market for poker, baby. A bull market for poker. We're about halfway to saving on our goals. We've basically accomplished our 6 months at a livable wage, which is good. And so we're really on track with almost everything once we hit our 10,000 mark. But despite all of those good things, I want to give you my thoughts on where we're at right now in the poker world. I try not to discuss politics. I probably have a different viewpoint than most of you out there, and that's okay. I love discussion, but I try to keep it out of my channel. I don't really want this to be a political channel. I want it to be poker. And so I don't really want to delve into that, but I do have to say, since we've had this new administration over the last 2 years, gas has doubled, and more than doubled, and it sucks. It's pretty terrible. You guys have all filled your car up. I don't have to tell you that, but when I started doing this, gas was so much more affordable. That's a pretty huge increase in your expenses. When you get a 100+% increase in your expense somewhere, that's tough on the bills. So as our government and the Fed have colluded and printed stupid amounts of money, we've shifted into a whole new gear with all that recently. On top of my gas being double or more what it used to be, our grocery bill is up, I don't know, 25%. And that might not seem like a lot, but we're a family of 6, and so 25% on our grocery bill is not insignificant. It's pretty painful, actually. And unfortunately, I think the place we find ourselves is what seems to be the early stages of a recession or a depression. So going back to the intro here, we have a quarter that's made of silver and we have one that is not made of silver. So this one might buy you a gumball. I don't know with inflation what a gumball is up to. It might be more. I think it's 25 cents. This bought you a gallon of gas in 1949, and it'll still buy you a gallon of gas today. And the reason is that it's real money. It's made out of something with intrinsic value. It has silver in here. And so because it's made out of silver, you can actually go sell this and you can turn it into our paper money system and then turn that into a gallon of gas. The reason I showed you those 2 quarters was just to express that we are dealing with inflation in the same way that that quarter used to buy you a gallon of gas. A new quarter today that's not made of silver buys you a gumball, and the old quarter will still buy you gas. Our money came off of the gold standard, and now we're dealing with this irresponsible government printing. The problem with all this money printing is that it ruins our standard of living. So when I started this thing, I could afford the numbers I was making. I would be pretty comfortable with making $40 an hour, and I'd be moving ahead pretty quickly, I think. But to have so much inflation and so many price increases makes this whole journey a lot more difficult. I could probably afford to be done today and to pay my bills for a while. But if inflation continues as hot as it is, and it seems as though the government isn't going to make drastic steps to change our energy production or to do anything positive for us or to allow the free market to solve the problems, as long as that is the stance, I think it's going to be difficult to play poker full time, because I believe that our costs are going to continue to go up. And I don't think they're solving inflation. We're still running massive deficits. We're still doing things that increase our money supply. And that has been done for decades. It's not something new, but it's become so reckless recently that not only are we feeling the pain of decades of bad decision making, but now it's been elevated to a whole new level where we're feeling inflation, we're dealing with the problems, and while we're doing it, let's just kneecap ourselves and make oil insanely expensive. Okay, a quick aside. I just have to talk about this because it drives me crazy. The reason claimed by the current administration for cutting our oil production is so that we can have a cleaner earth and protect ourselves against global warming and everything. But if we think about what we've done, we've shut down a pipeline that allows us to take oil and pump it from one place to another in order to get the oil production into the States faster and then distribute it. What we've done instead is we've shut that down. Our demand didn't go down. We didn't change the amount of oil production that we need. All we did is say, we're not going to produce it anymore. So what are we doing? We now tell OPEC, hey, pump more oil. We need to buy more from you. But now they pump the oil. There's no pipeline from where they're at, Saudi Arabia, over to the US. So what are they going to do? They're going to put it onto ships and they're going to burn fuel to move it from point A to point B so that then we can still consume it. So we haven't made the problem any better. All we've done is increase the price and increased our pollution. So what have we accomplished? I still don't know the answer. Haven't found anyone who can tell me why we're doing this and how this is resourceful and how it's helping the planet. Anyway, let's be done with politics and let's just talk about what I'm currently thinking. Where I'm at is I don't believe that I am ready to rule out professional poker. I also don't think I'm ready to jump in. Even though I'm making my goals, I feel like the goalposts have kind of shifted because of all the financial conditions that have shifted. So as things continue to change, it's going to be harder and harder to play poker. I probably don't need to break this down for you guys, but in order for you to be a winning player at poker, you just need people around you who are playing who are not as good as you are. Now that said, a lot of the people who are playing at a poker table are more casual recreational players, and that's great. We all started somewhere. I was donating money to people better than me at some point. So the point I'm trying to make is that there's going to come a time where as things continue to slow, the poker games are going to get harder, because the people who are still going to be showing up to the table are going to be the people who are winning or have been beating people or have disposable income but are, you're going to need people who really have a lot of it in order to survive as things get worse, assuming they get worse. And so I just see the game potentially degrading over time, and I think that's going to hurt my hourly. I'm not going to pretend like I'm the best player. You guys know that. You've seen me make dumb mistakes on this channel. And so if I'm not going to be making better money over the future and my costs are going to continue to go up, it's pretty hard to imagine being done with a good paying job in order to pursue poker full time. I'm not done with poker. I haven't given up on poker, but I'm not ready to commit to it full time because conditions are changing and they're changing quickly. Whew, that was a lot of negative. Shake it out, shake it out. Okay, so if you are out there and you're still considering full-time poker, I would say this. If your costs are low and you're not expecting a bunch of impact from inflation, maybe your house payment or rent or whatever, it's fixed, you're not expecting a change there. Your commute, maybe it's low or you're able to walk or bike or whatever. I don't have that option in my world. And I would say if you're comfortable with your standard of living being maybe in flux a little bit while you're figuring things out, just be prepared for the game to get harder over time. All right, a quick heart to heart. I make this content so that you can enjoy it, and I will admit that I've been rather scatterbrained and I want to kind of figure out where to go. I've been stumbling my way through because I'm new to this. I didn't know how to edit when I started. I didn't know how to film. I didn't know how to do lighting and check check that out. I'm learning along the way. There's I'm trying to figure out my audio better all the time, my lighting, my camera work, my editing, trying to compose better and better content for you guys. But I want to know what's engaging. What do you like the most? What has been your favorite? Okay, so let's set a new goal. We've hit every one except the 10,000. I'm going to keep going for the $10,000. But until then, I want to take my $40 an hour and boost it up to $50 an hour. If I can make $50 an hour with the cost of things going up, the game potentially getting worse, I think this is a good place to be. So I'm gonna try now to move my hourly up to about $50 an hour. We'll see if we can do it, and I'm gonna continue to work towards saving that $10,000. All right, that's where we're at. I hope you'll join me for the journey. Give it a click, a like, and a subscribe. Would love to have you here. Thanks for watching. Comment below. I love hearing from you guys and would very much appreciate your feedback.